Have you ever noticed that some people speak little, but everyone listens when they open their mouths? They don't need to shout, argue, or beg for attention. Their presence speaks before their voice does. And the curious thing is, it's not talent. It's training. It's self-discipline applied to the way they communicate. The mistake most people make is believing that respect is earned by talking more. But the more you try to prove something, the less seriously people take you. Powerful communication is not about being heard. It's about being felt. Respect is born from emotional control, not from the force of words. It's calmness that conquers. We live in an age where everyone talks, but few say something that truly stays. People are tired of noise. The world respects those who master silence, who pause before responding, who speak as if every word carried weight. This is respect and authority in its purest state. This audiobook won't teach you to speak beautifully. It will teach you to speak in a way that makes the world stop and listen. You'll learn how your voice, tone, and silence can become tools of influence and presence. How to turn insecurity into power, hesitation into clarity, and emotion into mastery. And the best part, you'll realize that speaking like a leader isn't about technique, it's about energy. About what's behind the voice. When you learn to master that, respect isn't requested, it's inevitable. Now, let's dive deep into this invisible power called powerful communication. There's a silent force in those who master the art of powerful communication. It's not about speaking more, but about speaking with intention. A true leader understands that the voice is only the vehicle of the mind. What truly commands is the energy behind the words. When there is presence, even silence speaks louder than the most rehearsed speech. It's the kind of power that isn't imposed, but naturally felt. People don't follow words, they follow presence. They can sense when someone speaks with conviction, and when someone speaks just to fill the space. The secret lies in turning every phrase into something memorable. Those who master this skill don't seek attention, they attract respect. And that respect comes from the balance between truth, clarity, and purpose. A leader doesn't need to raise his voice to be heard. He understands that respect and authority don't come from volume but from consistency. Words spoken calmly and with certainty create more impact than fire speeches. It's the power of serenity, the mastery of intention. The steady tone says, "I know what I'm talking about." Powerful communication is like a river. It flows without haste but moves mountains. A disciplined communicator understands the value of rhythm, pause, and eye contact. He masters the timing of words as a conductor directs an orchestra. When he speaks, he creates harmony between sound and meaning. And that's why his presence leaves a mark. There's a huge difference between speaking to be heard and speaking to be remembered. Those who seek to be remembered choose every word as if shaping the future. Presence is born from this awareness that everything said can influence minds, awaken emotions, and inspire change. It's leadership in the form of speech. Great leaders, from Mandela to Jobs, didn't need complex phrases. They spoke simply, but with soul. That's the essence of powerful communication, saying little but meaning much. Simplicity is the clothing of truth, and those who carry truth speak with lightness. That's why their words echo through generations. Mastery of communication begins within. Before speaking well, one must think clearly. Self-discipline of the mind allows the leader to organize his ideas before delivering them. This prevents noise, impulsivity, and confusion. He who controls the mind controls the message. He who controls the message controls the impact. The true power of speech lies in intention. When you speak with purpose, body, voice, and gaze align, this congruence creates presence, a kind of magnetism that attracts effortlessly. People feel safe and connect naturally. Speech becomes a bridge, not a wall. In times of information overload, those who master powerful communication stand out through calmness. While many shout to be noticed, the leader speaks softly but firmly. He understands that emotional control is the foundation of influence. Those who remain composed amid chaos earn trust. A good exercise is to practice silence before speaking. Breathe, observe, think. That is self-discipline and presence in practice. Conscious silence strengthens the mind and refines communication. When speech comes, it comes polished, without excess, without haste, only with purpose. The voice of a leader reflects his inner world. If there's confusion, speech will be chaotic. If there's focus, words will be precise. That's why emotional control is essential. It turns emotion into direction. Calmness in the voice builds confidence in others, and confidence is the ground where leadership grows. Powerful communication is built over time, not improvisation. It requires study, practice, and attention to detail. It's like polishing a diamond. The shine comes from constant refinement. Every conversation is a chance to test, adjust, and improve. That's the true self-discipline of those who inspire and lead. Words have weight, but presence has gravity. When someone speaks with presence, the room changes. People straighten up, eyes turn, the air feels heavier. It's not magic, it's energy aligned with intention. And that's something only practice and awareness can build. Powerful communication goes beyond speech. It's in gestures, listening, and posture. It's the harmony between what's said and what's shown. The leader who listens carefully communicates as much as the one who speaks. Because listening is a form of respect, and respect creates authority. A practical example: before an important meeting, visualize the desired outcome. Breathe deeply, align your body, and focus on calmness. This activates emotional control and instantly improves performance. Speaking becomes natural when the mind is prepared. That's how real confidence begins. The self-discipline of speech isn't trained in public, but in daily life. In simple conversations, the leader builds presence. Speaking clearly, listening attentively, and acting with integrity create a solid reputation. Respect is the inevitable result of consistency. In the end, the power of presence isn't about dominating others, but mastering oneself. It's when the leader understands that his energy speaks before words. And when presence and powerful communication walk side by side, something rare happens. A voice that not only convinces but transforms. Words are promises. When a leader speaks, he signs an invisible contract with those who listen. Every sentence said with conviction reinforces trust, while every weak word destroys credibility. Powerful communication begins with a commitment to say only what can be sustained. Those who keep their word inspire respect. There's a brutal difference between saying and affirming. Those who say inform. Those who affirm lead. Leaders don't hide behind "I think" or "maybe." They speak with clarity, with presence, and back their words with action. The world is already full of opinions. What's missing are voices with conviction. When you speak with inner strength, your whole body follows. The gaze steadies, the tone stabilizes, and the room goes silent. It's respect and authority in its purest form. People can sense when confidence is genuine, and that attracts them naturally. It's impossible not to listen to someone who truly believes what they say. Insecurity is the greatest enemy of leadership. It appears in broken phrases, in "maybe," and "I think." But when there's self-discipline, the mind learns to eliminate these crutches. The leader speaks precisely, not because he's arrogant, but because he has emotional control. He measures what he says, but he never hesitates. Those who speak with power don't try to convince. They simply communicate their truth. That's the essence of powerful communication. A simple example: instead of saying "I'll try to improve," say "I will improve." The first phrase begs for acceptance. The second demonstrates decision. And decision creates respect. Being firm isn't being harsh. You can have respect and authority without aggression. A true leader speaks with calm firmness, without raising his voice. He's the kind of person who says no calmly, and no one dares to insist. That's control, presence dominating the room. The voice of someone who believes what they say vibrates differently. It doesn't tremble, rise, or fall. It holds steady. That stability is born from emotional control, which gives communication an air of certainty and maturity. When the body is at peace, speech becomes a natural extension of inner confidence. Every word that leaves your mouth builds or destroys your reputation. That's why a leader practices self-discipline in language. He thinks before promising, speaks only what's necessary, and fulfills what he declares. The strength of leadership isn't in speech, but in coherence between speech and action. A good exercise is to observe your own vocabulary. How many times do you soften your message to seem too polite? How many times do you say sorry unnecessarily? Each small, maybe, weakens your powerful communication. Speaking firmly is a daily exercise of awareness and adjustment. Words must be treated as precision tools, not random shots. When the leader speaks, he cuts through the noise of the world and brings focus. This clarity generates respect and authority because it transmits security. Confused people follow those who are clear, not those who speak beautifully. Those who master powerful communication understand that every phrase has a cost. Speaking demands energy, time, and attention from others. So make every word worth it. The leader who measures his speech shows self-discipline and presence. And that's exactly what makes him rare in a world full of excess. The truth is, the world respects those who take a stand. Trying to please everyone kills identity. A leader's communication is clear, direct, and courageous. He speaks simply but makes his beliefs clear. That clarity might bother some, but it also inspires, and inspiration is leadership. When you own your words, there's no room for regret. It's not about always being right. It's about being at peace with what was said. Emotional control prevents anger, fear, or vanity from speaking for you. Maturity is the filter that separates impulse from intention. Think of how a samurai wields a sword, with precision, respect, and focus. That's how your speech should be. Don't waste words on justifications. Use them with purpose. That's the path of powerful communication, and that's how true authority is born, the kind that needs no title to be recognized. Training this firmness is simple but requires practice. Start by correcting small expressions in your daily speech. Replace I think with I believe, maybe with I decide. This subtle shift transforms your energy. You begin to project respect and authority effortlessly, just by being congruent. Speaking with conviction isn't a technique. It's the consequence of living in truth. When there's self-discipline, words align naturally with actions. It's impossible to sound false when you live what you say. The sound of authenticity is unmistakable and irresistible. In the end, owning your words is owning yourself. Those who master their voice master their destiny. That's the foundation of powerful communication, turning speech into direction, conviction into movement, and presence into living leadership. Clarity is power. Powerful communication isn't measured by how many words you use, but by their precision. A leader knows that if his message confuses, he loses influence. Speaking clearly doesn't mean dumbing things down. It means making the complex understandable. It's what turns ideas into action and listeners into followers. When you speak with presence, people feel direction in your words. They don't have to guess what you meant because you make it clear from the start. Clarity saves time, prevents conflict, and builds trust. And trust is the foundation of respect and authority. Those who communicate well, lead well. Confusion is born from a disorganized mind. That's why clarity of speech begins with clarity of thought. A leader practices mental self-discipline daily. He writes ideas, structures reasoning, and rehearses arguments. He knows that if the mind is foggy, communication becomes a storm. Powerful communication doesn't need embellishment, it needs focus. Every word should serve a purpose, like pieces of a puzzle that fit naturally. The good communicator removes filler words, meaningless sounds, and clutter. The silence between phrases is just as powerful. That silence is presence itself. Clarity isn't rigidity, it's empathy. It's the act of adapting your language to be understood without losing essence. A leader translates, not complicates. He knows that words should open doors, not create walls. And when there's emotional control, even hard truths flow smoothly. Do you want to be understood? Then simplify, but don't underestimate. Einstein said, "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough." The same goes for powerful communication. Clarity reflects depth. The more you master a subject, the easier it is to explain. Leaders who speak clearly have one thing in common. They listen carefully. They watch reactions, adjust rhythm, calibrate tone. This awareness comes from emotional control and self-discipline, the pursuit of connection, not validation. It's dialogue, not monologue. Lack of clarity weakens even the best idea. A brilliant plan, poorly explained, sounds impossible. An amazing project, badly communicated, dies before it begins. That's why the leader treats speech as a strategic tool. He knows that respect and authority are born from clean, direct, and honest communication. A clear voice is one that transmits certainty, even amid doubt, and that takes courage. Clarity isn't about softening. It's about telling the truth clearly. Sometimes, the leader must point out mistakes without breaking morale. That's the art of combining firmness and empathy, born from emotional control. A good exercise is to review your own speeches. Record an important conversation and listen to yourself. Are you clear? Do you use too many words, nervous pauses, detours? That simple habit reveals a lot about your powerful communication. The more you hear yourself, the more conscious you become of your impact. The self-discipline of clarity requires daily training. Speak with different people, test new ways to explain, practice until it feels natural. True presence is born from familiarity with your message. Those who master a topic speak calmly. Those who don't, hide behind words. The power of clarity is liberating. When you express yourself well, the world responds with respect. People start seeking you for guidance. It's the natural cycle of respect and authority. Those who bring light to confusion earn the right to lead. And those who lead through clarity, not fear. Avoid the rush to impress. Many lose impact by trying to sound smart. A true leader speaks as if explaining to a friend, not performing for an audience. That simplicity creates instant connection. It's the kind of powerful communication that touches and transforms. Clarity is also about rhythm. Speaking slowly, pausing, and breathing between phrases demonstrates presence and confidence. Words gain space to be absorbed. It's the opposite of anxious, rushed speech. When you control rhythm, you control attention. A practical example, before presenting, imagine you're teaching something important to someone you care about. It changes your tone and your intention. You shift from proving you know to wanting them to understand. That small shift turns powerful communication into an emotional bridge. Clarity is a form of respect. Speaking vaguely demands effort from others. Speaking clearly shows care. It's respect and authority in speech form. When people see that you want to be understood, not admired, they open up. And that's when leadership begins to bloom. In the end, communicating clearly is an act of humility and self-discipline. It's accepting that the purpose of speech isn't to shine, but to enlighten. When you speak with calm, intention, and presence, impact becomes inevitable. The world listens to those who speak to connect, not to prove. A leader's voice is the mirror of his inner world. It reveals what words try to hide. If there's calm inside, the tone is steady. If there's chaos, the sound betrays it. To master the voice is to master one's emotional state. It's transforming what was once reaction into conscious, intentional, powerful communication. Before leading with words, you must lead your own breath. Breathing is the anchor of emotional control. When the body calms, the mind follows. Great communicators breathe before speaking, pause before responding, and choose their tone carefully. It's in that space that true influence is born. Presence in voice doesn't come from volume. It comes from serenity. The voice that leads is the one that transmits safety even in storms. It's the sound that slows the room, makes people listen, and builds trust. To lead through voice is to lead through the energy it carries. Tone is more powerful than content. You can say something simple with firmness and create impact. Likewise, you can say something profound with insecurity and be ignored. Respect and authority aren't imposed by shouting. They're earned through harmony between tone and posture. Every word is a note, and the voice is the instrument. A leader learns to play his message like a musician plays the piano. He controls rhythm, understands silence, and knows the strength of each pause. That's self-discipline and presence in sound form. The power of choosing when and how to resonate. People who speak too fast transmit anxiety. Those who speak slower and with pauses transmit control. The secret of powerful communication lies in creating space between words. That space is where the listener's mind absorbs the message and feels the confidence that comes from your calm. You can see this in figures like Barack Obama or Morgan Freeman. Both speak with cadence, without rush, yet with conviction. That serenity is the embodiment of emotional control. They don't try to dominate the room. They become the room. It's presence in its purest form. Training your voice is training inner mastery. Try this. In moments of stress, lower your tone instead of raising it. It reverses the energy of the environment. Calm people dominate debates, meetings, and tough conversations. The balanced voice cuts through noise and shows who truly has respect and authority. The body speaks through the voice. Tense shoulders, shallow breath, and tight jaws reveal insecurity. So those who want to master powerful communication must relax the body before speaking. Physical calm prepares the ground for authentic, steady, convincing speech. The self-discipline of voice demands constant practice. Record yourself. Notice your tone. Detect if there's haste, irritation, or hidden insecurity. Every small adjustment changes how people perceive you. Your voice is the business card of your mindset. Take care of it like an athlete takes care of the body. A confident voice is a healing tool. It calms, guides, inspires. When there's emotional control, even a no sounds respectful. That happens because energy comes from balance, not aggression. Those who speak with serenity transform the room, even without saying much. Learn to use silence as part of your communication. Pausing before responding shows mastery. Silence isn't weakness, it's presence. It gives weight to the words that come next and creates expectation. Great leaders know. The pause is the comma that gives power to the sentence. Powerful communication begins where haste ends. Speaking slowly isn't being slow, it's being intentional. Every word gains value when there's space for it to resonate. And the clearer your intention, the stronger your connection with the listener. It's emotional mastery in motion. A leader who controls his voice also controls the emotional climate. When he speaks, tensions fade and noise dissolves. He becomes the center of calm, the axis of the group. That's respect and authority at its highest level. Influence born from serenity. To develop this mastery, practice the following. Before meetings or presentations, take 3 slow, deep breaths. Feel the air entering and leaving softly. It activates emotional control and puts your mind into presence mode. You don't react, you respond with purpose. The voice is an extension of a disciplined mind. It expresses what you truly are, even when you try to hide it. That's why self-discipline isn't just about what you say, but how you say it. When emotion and intention align, speech becomes art. To master your voice is to master your inner vibration. Those who control their own frequency control their surroundings. And it's in that moment that powerful communication becomes living leadership, the kind that commands without forcing, simply by being. Speaking isn't just using the voice, it's moving the invisible world inside people. Powerful communication isn't made to impress, but to awaken. Each word is a spark capable of igniting ideas, breaking patterns, and inspiring action. The true communicator understands his role isn't to be heard, it's to cause transformation. The difference between a good speaker and a leader is intention. Many speak to be applauded, but few speak to cause movement. The leader doesn't seek applause, he seeks progress. He speaks with presence and purpose, knowing that every phrase can create lasting impact. The sound of truth is louder than the echo of vanity. Words that move don't need perfection, they need sincerity. Authenticity is the engine of powerful communication. People don't follow those who speak beautifully. They follow those who speak honestly. Sincerity has its own sound, a frequency that touches the subconscious. When there's truth, the audience feels it before understanding it. A leader who masters the power of speech knows that emotion is a bridge, not a trap. He uses emotional control to channel energy, not to react. He feels intensely but expresses with balance. That combination creates magnetism. When emotion and reason meet, a voice that inspires and transforms is born. Real impact happens when the message carries experience. Respect and authority cannot be bought. They're built through living. People follow those who've been in the battlefield, who know what they speak of. The leader who speaks with scars shows humanity and strength at once. That creates instant trust and connection. To move people, you must understand pain. Empathy is the foundation of powerful communication. Only those who feel can truly touch others. But the difference lies in feeling without drowning. The leader with emotional control understands suffering, but turns it into direction. He doesn't drown in emotion, he rides its current. Every word must have purpose. An empty speech is like fireworks. It shines fast but fades quickly. The leader speaks as one planting trees, not throwing sparks. He thinks of tomorrow, not just today. And that awareness comes from self-discipline, the base of lasting presence. Moving people is also about challenging them. Presence isn't about being nice all the time. It's about being real. Sometimes discomfort is the seed of growth. The leader who says what needs to be said, even when it hurts, plants the deepest roots. Respect is born when truth is spoken with courage. Powerful communication happens when the energy behind speech is pure. People can sense intention. If yours is to manipulate, they close off. If it's to inspire, they open up. That's why those who master emotional control speak with transparency. They don't want to control minds. They want to awaken them. The right tone is worth more than 1,000 arguments. When there's calm and firmness, words enter without resistance. The serene voice, with controlled rhythm, shows presence and mastery. Tranquility amid emotion is what separates the leader from the talker. Speaking well is a technique. Speaking with purpose is art. To move someone, you must first believe. Faith in your message is the fuel of impact. No one follows someone who doubts themselves. Powerful communication is born from conviction, and conviction comes from coherence. When action and speech align, the leader becomes a lighthouse, and the world begins to follow the light. The true leader speaks to the unconscious. He doesn't dump information, he ignites mental images. He uses metaphors, pauses, and emotion in the right measure. This self-discipline turns speech into experience. People may forget the words, but they never forget how they felt. Communication that moves is clear, direct, and human. The leader avoids masks. He speaks as if talking to a friend, simple yet powerful. That naturalness creates respect and authority effortlessly. Balanced vulnerability connects more than flawless delivery. A practical exercise: when speaking in public, visualize one person in front of you. Look them in the eye, even if it's a crowd. This mindset builds presence and kills anxiety. The voice becomes warmer, the body more relaxed, and the message more personal. The audience feels seen, not instructed. Emotional control is also about knowing when to be silent. There are moments when silence speaks louder than speech. Knowing when to pause, breathe, and wait is leadership in action. Impact isn't in excess, it's in the balance between strength and softness. Mastery of energy is the secret of magnetism. Powerful communication requires total commitment. Speaking with half your soul is wasting the chance to touch someone fully. The leader puts emotion in measure, truth in speech, and intention in direction. His words don't beg, they invite. And those who listen feel the call to act. In the end, moving people is reigniting the flame they forgot they had. It's reminding them that inside each one exists a power waiting to be used. The leader lights that spark with presence and purpose. And when that fire awakens, the world transforms with it. Words shape perception. When you speak firmly, people feel they can trust you. Powerful communication begins with precise choices, sentences that don't ask permission, they express intention. A leader understands that every word is a signature. He speaks like someone fulfilling, not promising. Using strong words doesn't mean being aggressive. It means being clear. The presence of someone who speaks with certainty is magnetic. People respect those who know what they want to say. They can feel conviction behind the voice, and that creates respect and authority. A steady tone is worth more than any rehearsed argument. Avoid softening your voice's strength with weak expressions like maybe, I think, or who knows. Those words steal the power from your message and weaken your presence. The leader who masters self-discipline in speech replaces uncertainty with decision. He speaks less, but every word carries weight. The secret of powerful communication lies in eliminating noise. Speaking objectively is an act of respect for those who listen. Confused people don't inspire confidence. Clarity is the language of leadership. When there's emotional control, the leader transmits stability even through short sentences. Strong words don't shout, they echo. They stay in the mind because they're said calmly and intentionally. That calmness comes from inner mastery. It's the strength of presence. A true leader doesn't rush to respond. He thinks, adjusts the tone, and speaks with purpose. That's power in vocal form. Those who speak with strength don't seek approval, they seek truth. The desire to please is the enemy of influence. The leader speaks with conviction even if it causes discomfort. He knows that respect and authority are born from coherence, not likability. People trust those who stand by what they say. Powerful communication demands strong choices. Use action verbs, avoid detours. Say I decided, not I'm thinking. Say I will, not I'll try. These small swaps create an image of leadership and direction. The world follows those who speak with certainty, not hesitation. Words are like hammers. They can build or break. The leader who speaks with emotional control uses this tool to build, not hurt. He understands the weight of speech and its impact. So he chooses each term as if sculpting something valuable. That awareness is respect in action. Using strong language doesn't mean being rude. Being firm is different from being harsh. The presence of someone who speaks serenely transmits quiet power. The balanced voice wins what shouting drives away. Strength is staying calm when everything tries to pull you off center. Those who master self-discipline in speech conquer space. The right words open doors, clear doubts, and inspire trust. The leader who speaks with clarity doesn't need to repeat himself. One well-built sentence replaces 10 justifications. And silence after a firm statement is the proof of earned respect. Speaking strongly also means cutting excess. Long sentences dilute impact. Powerful communication lives on precision. Every word must serve a purpose. When the leader says only what's needed, he communicates control. And control is the heart of respect. Tone is the frame of the message. Even the strongest word loses power if said with insecurity. Training tone is training character. The balanced voice shows emotional control, mastery over one's inner territory. Those who control the voice control perception. A practical example. Compare "Can I talk to you?" with "We need to talk." The first asks permission. The second communicates direction. That subtle difference separates the common from the leader. Powerful communication thrives on these nuances. It's the art of adjusting little things to cause big effects. Strong words come from conviction, not anger. The disciplined leader speaks with intention and pause. He doesn't use speech as emotional discharge, but as a tool for construction. That's the mark of self-discipline, knowing when and how to use energy for impact. Those who master language master the environment. Respect and authority arise when the voice conveys inner order. Clarity is irresistible. People naturally align with those who speak with certainty. The sound of firmness has a hypnotic effect. It creates safety amid chaos. Powerful communication is a reflection of refined thought. If you think in confusion, you'll speak in confusion. But when there's focus and calm, words flow elegantly. This harmony between mind and voice is the true sign of presence. It's when sound becomes influence. In the end, speaking strongly is speaking truthfully. Self-discipline teaches you to choose the right words, and emotional control teaches you to use them wisely. Powerful communication transforms both into impact. When there's clarity and purpose, respect comes naturally. The words you use reveal the strength or weakness of your mind. Those who master powerful communication understand that speech reflects thought. Weak language creates a weak mind. Every "I think," or "maybe," is a microdose of doubt that undermines your presence and reduces your power. The first change of a leader starts in speech. Vocabulary is the clothing of authority. Insecure phrases create insecure perceptions. When you say "I'll try," the world hears hesitation. But when you say "I will," the message is firm. That's how respect and authority are built. Eliminating weak language is an act of self-discipline. It requires daily awareness because verbal habits are automatic. You must monitor each word, adjust each phrase, and correct each tone. That mental vigilance trains the brain to think clearly. And those who think clearly speak powerfully. Powerful communication doesn't mix with excuses. Every time you say, "I don't know if I can," you reinforce incapacity. Replace it with, "I can't yet, but I'll learn." That small change shifts your energy. The world responds to the strength of your conviction. The mind believes what the mouth repeats. Those who use weak words are trying to protect themselves. It's a shield against failure. But the leader seeking growth understands that vulnerability isn't hesitation. You can be honest without being weak. Saying, "I don't know, but I'll find out," shows presence and courage. It's the fusion of humility and confidence. Verbal self-discipline builds credibility. When your words are consistent, people trust you. They sense that you do what you say, and that creates respect and authority. The right words build solid reputations. The disciplined voice is the invisible brick of leadership. Eliminating weak speech isn't just about changing words. It's about changing posture. When the body communicates insecurity, the sound hesitates. The voice and mind walk together. Strengthen one, and the other follows. Those who speak firmly move differently, look differently, lead differently. That's embodied presence. Emotional control is essential here. Hesitation often comes from fear of judgment. When you control that fear, you speak naturally. The voice stops being defensive and becomes assertive. People trust those who speak without needing to justify themselves. Weak words dilute the message's impact. They make great ideas small. Powerful communication demands that you speak with certainty even in doubt. That's not arrogance. That's leadership. People don't follow those with all the answers, but those who speak clearly about the path. Replace fragile expressions with action verbs. Change "I think we can" to "we will." Change "if it works" to "when it works." This small shift creates a victory mindset. The self-discipline of speech trains the brain to act with determination, not passive hope. Every sentence is an energetic decision. Weak words lower your vibration. Strong words raise it. The conscious leader treats what leaves his mouth like an artist treats a brush. Powerful communication is a living art. Every poorly used word is an off-key note in the symphony of leadership. When the mind is aligned, speech gains rhythm and force. That harmony is the true mark of presence. People who express themselves clearly create instant trust. It's not magic, it's congruence. The sound of words mirrors inner balance, and balance inspires respect. A good exercise. Listen to yourself throughout the day. Notice the "I think," "maybe," and "I don't know." Replace them with stronger statements. This self-discipline reorganizes the mind. In a few weeks, you'll notice your speech becoming calmer, more focused, and more confident. The leader who eliminates weak speech eliminates internal chaos. He understands that emotional control isn't suppressing emotion but redirecting it. Instead of reacting, he responds. Instead of justifying, he affirms. This subtle shift changes how people perceive him and creates quiet authority. The strength of words lies in simplicity. Speaking directly is the highest form of powerful communication. The leader who masters it speaks little, but every sentence has intention. Impact is born from the absence of noise. It's the power of objectivity in a distracted world. Words shape the future. What you say repeatedly becomes who you are. That's why self-discipline in speech is an act of self-construction. When mind and mouth work together, reality bends toward clarity. Speaking strongly is thinking firmly. Speaking weakly is giving up out loud. In the end, dropping weak speech means dropping doubt. It's deciding to be heard, not just listened to. Powerful communication is the language of leaders, direct, precise, and confident. When there's presence and emotional control, speech becomes command. And silent command is the most respected of all. Pressure is the battlefield where true leaders are revealed. When everything around shakes, the presence of those who remain firm becomes a lighthouse. Many crumble when challenged, few stand solid. That stability comes from emotional control, mastery of self amid chaos. Holding your ground isn't stubbornness, it's awareness. Powerful communication under pressure isn't about winning arguments, but protecting principles. A mature leader knows when to speak, and when silence is the wisest response. He knows every impulsive reaction carries a heavy cost. Those with self-discipline aren't driven by emotion but by purpose. Even under provocation, they choose calm. That serenity imposes respect and authority effortlessly. While others lose themselves in shouting, he stays centered, and his posture speaks louder than any word. Under pressure, Tone reveals more than content. A steady, controlled voice is proof of power. Emotional control shows when the leader keeps his rhythm even with a racing heart. It's the invisible victory of mind over instinct. True presence is tested in hard moments. When doubt enters, the leader trusts his calm. He doesn't need to prove anything. He simply sustains conviction's energy. That tranquility spreads through the room. The team feels safe because someone chose stillness. Powerful communication in tension demands clarity. The leader doesn't raise tone, he raises focus. He speaks little but speaks right. His words cut the air like a sharp blade. Clarity shields him from criticism, and calm is the sword that slices through noise. When everyone loses control, self-control becomes a superpower. Emotional control isn't absence of emotion, it's command over it. The leader feels the heat of pressure, but doesn't burn. He turns the fire into light. That mastery creates genuine respect. A practical example. Imagine a tense meeting, accusations flying, egos inflated. The leader breathes deeply, pauses, and answers with serenity. That simple choice changes the room's energy. That's powerful communication in action. The calm voice that dissolves chaos. Self-discipline keeps the spine straight when the mind wants to bend. It's easy to be strong in calm waters, hard when waves crash. The leader trains this strength daily, building presence through small challenges. So when storms arrive, he's already prepared. Standing firm isn't about dominating others, but mastering yourself. Respect and authority come from emotional predictability. People trust those who react with balance. The leader becomes a reference point because he never loses his center, even when the world tilts. Pressure is a mirror revealing hidden weaknesses. Those who avoid it never mature. The leader who faces discomfort with presence gains real power. Each challenge overcome adds another layer of confidence. He doesn't harden, he refines. Powerful communication under attack is art. Speaking firmly without agitation proves greatness. The calm tone disarms the enemy and inspires the observer. It's silent strength that only those with self-discipline understand. Stability is the universal language of respect. In confrontation, the leader remembers he doesn't need to react to everything. Not every provocation deserves a response. Emotional control filters noise from signal. Saved energy becomes strategic force. That emotional economy is the secret of endurance. True presence is unshakable because it comes from within. The leader doesn't depend on the environment for balance. He creates balance within the environment. His calm is contagious. It's the kind of strength that doesn't need to be said, it's felt. That's natural respect. Those with self-discipline know patience is power. Hurry makes you lose reasoning. Calm keeps control. A disciplined leader waits for the right moment to act. That strategic waiting turns tension into advantage. Powerful communication isn't only about what you say, but what you transmit while saying it. Under pressure, body, gaze, and tone must align. The leader who communicates with coherence becomes the emotional anchor for everyone around. In the end, holding your ground means holding your energy. Presence is the shield that protects, and emotional control is the sword that guides. When the leader stands firm under pressure, he doesn't just survive, he leads with greatness. That's where authority becomes natural. Clarity is the signature of those who master powerful communication. When a leader speaks, the world listens because he wastes no time. Every sentence is an arrow, direct, precise, and necessary. Too many words confuse, but objectivity commands. Influence is born from verbal economy. Being direct is a form of respect. Respect and authority begin when you spare others from the unnecessary. Talking too much reveals insecurity, and insecurity destroys credibility. A confident leader doesn't fill silences. He lets silence speak for him. That's pure presence in action. The secret lies in self-discipline of speech. It's resisting the impulse to overexplain. It's knowing that those who know don't need to convince, only to communicate. People trust those who speak little and act a lot. The firm voice replaces 1,000 excuses. Powerful communication requires timing. Talking beyond necessity is like leaving the sword in the air too long. It loses impact. The leader observes, senses the moment, and speaks just enough. This precision comes from emotional control, mastery over one's rhythm. A simple example: when answering a hard question, say the essential and stop. The silence afterward reinforces confidence. The pause communicates assurance. Those who master timing master attention. It's the invisible power of controlled presence. Self-discipline teaches that every word must have function. Before speaking, ask, does this guide, inspire, or clarify? If not, it's noise. Leaders eliminate noise because they know clarity is luxury in a distracted world. Focus is the purest form of respect. Excess words come from fear of not being understood. But the more you talk, the less people remember. Powerful communication is minimalist, saying the most with the least. Strength is in density, not duration. People with respect and authority don't compete for attention. They earn it through content. They speak as givers of value, not seekers of validation. And when they finish, they leave an echo, the kind of silence that makes others reflect. Emotional control keeps the leader from getting lost in explanations. He knows talking too much opens room for doubt, so he chooses simplicity. Each word is calculated, each sentence deliberate. Security lies in what's said and what's left unsaid. In tough conversations, objectivity is strength. The leader doesn't ramble or dramatize. He addresses the point with calm and clarity. That builds presence and trust. People feel they're in front of someone who knows where he's going. The self-discipline of conciseness is a master's skill. Speaking briefly requires self-control. You must restrain the ego that wants to be heard and focus on impact. Every pause is strategic, every word deliberate. That economy creates elegance and authority. Powerful communication is more about what stays in the listener's mind than what leaves your mouth. The leader knows excess dilutes memory, so he cuts without fear, keeping only what transforms. Clarity is his signature of power. Being concise isn't coldness, it's effectiveness. Emotional control allows calm and compassion without rambling. You can be direct and still be human. Objectivity with empathy is rare and deeply respected. The leader's presence appears when he says something and the room shifts. It's not the loudness, but the precision that moves people. The right words at the right time are keys unlocking mental doors. That mastery comes from internal discipline. A good exercise: review past speeches and cut 30% of the words. Notice how the message strengthens. Self-discipline in communication means saying less, but meaning more. Silence afterward becomes the period of confidence. Respect and authority belong to those who value others' time. Every second of speech must have purpose. The leader knows true power lies in delivering value without wasting energy. He speaks little, but leaves deep marks. In the end, speaking objectively is a spiritual form of leadership. It's communicating essence without distraction. Powerful communication is the sound of mental clarity turned into direction. Those who master this art speak once and are remembered forever. The difference between being heard and being remembered lies in intention. Those who master powerful communication don't speak to fill the air, but to leave a mark. Each word is chosen with purpose and controlled emotion. The sound of the voice passes, but the meaning stays. Being remembered is speaking with soul and strategy. Empty words evaporate quickly, but those filled with truth remain. The presence of someone who speaks authentically creates emotional memories. People don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel. That's why emotional balance is the secret to respect and authority. It creates a real connection. To be memorable, you must master rhythm. The right pause, the right tone, the perfect timing. That harmony requires self-discipline and full awareness of impact. Speaking to be remembered is like dancing. There's a time for silence and a time for sound. The balance between both is power. The leader who masters powerful communication doesn't seek attention. He awakens reflection. His words echo because they carry meaning. They invite introspection and inspire change. That's the magic of presence, the power to turn speech into experience. Memorable words touch the invisible. They are simple but filled with genuine feeling. They don't impress, they connect. When there's emotional control, emotion comes in the right measure and impact multiplies. The audience feels truth, and truth is irresistible. To be remembered, say less but say what matters. The self-discipline of speech filters the essential from the excess. Every phrase must serve a purpose. The leader knows impact isn't in the length of the speech, but in the precision of the message. Clarity is the language of respect. A good communicator knows being remembered is better than being applauded. Applause fades, but memory builds legacies. Respect and authority come from consistency between speech and life. When words and actions walk together, memory becomes eternal. Powerful communication doesn't need ornaments. The most powerful words are the most human. A simple "I believe in you," said sincerely, is worth more than an entire speech. Strength lies in simplicity filled with emotion. Presence makes the ordinary sound extraordinary. The voice that marks people speaks with intention, not haste. Emotional control creates space between words and lets the message breathe. The silence after a strong phrase is when the other's mind absorbs it. That's when memory is formed. To speak and be remembered, you must shed vanity. Self-discipline teaches you not to seek spotlight, but depth. The leader speaks to serve, not to shine. He knows his role is to ignite something in others, not to illuminate himself. That's powerful humility. The secret lies in aligning emotional energy. Presence is the invisible amplifier of words. When mind, voice, and body vibrate in sync, communication becomes magnetic. It's the force that bypasses logic and reaches the soul. The messages that last are those that reveal truth. Speaking with controlled vulnerability is powerful communication at its highest. People never forget those who were real with them. Authenticity plants roots in memory, and every sincere word becomes a living memory. A practical example. Think of a speech that marked you. It wasn't the most technical, it was the most human. The tone, the pause, the emotion, all in harmony. That's self-discipline and emotional control at work. Invisible mastery that creates visible impact. The leader who speaks to be remembered knows words are seeds. Some sprout immediately, others years later. He speaks patiently, knowing time works for truth. That's the nature of powerful communication. Slow, deep, transformative. To speak and be remembered is to align emotion and direction. Each sentence must lead to something greater. When there's presence, even a short phrase becomes a doorway to reflection. People leave conversations like these different, more conscious, more alive, more awake. Respect and authority arise when people see consistency. The same firm voice that teaches is the one that acts. Living what you say turns words into legacy. Respect is proof that the message took root. In the end, being remembered is more than speaking well. It's communicating soul. It's using powerful communication to touch the unseen, with emotional control to balance it and presence to sustain it. Sound may fade, but the energy of a true word never dies. The voice is the invisible muscle of leadership. Just like the body needs training to strengthen, powerful communication demands daily practice. No one is born with a firm voice. It's built, repetition after repetition. The voice reflects discipline, and those who train the voice also train the mind. Training the voice isn't about singing. It's about commanding energy. Every conscious breath is an act of self-discipline. The leader knows speaking well is about inner rhythm. He works breath, tone, and intonation until each sentence sounds intentional. The disciplined voice is synonymous with power. Presence starts with sound. An insecure voice betrays a disorganized heart. Voice training isn't just physical, it's emotional. Strengthening the voice strengthens the spirit. It's learning to express firmness without aggression, calm without weakness. That harmony is the essence of respect and authority. Emotional control is the foundation of every vocal practice. Before speaking, breathe. Before replying, feel. The inspiring voice is born from balance. Those who rush lose depth. Those who stay calm dominate the room. Emotional control is the conductor of communication. Powerful communication is the result of conscious repetition. Just as an athlete trains his body, the communicator trains his tone. Record yourself, listen, adjust. Every word spoken is data, a mirror. Progress lives in details. The leader doesn't chase perfection, he chases consistency. Training your voice is training presence. The self-discipline of keeping a practice routine shapes character. Reading aloud, breathing with purpose, controlling pauses, simple exercises that change everything. Mastering speech is a form of active meditation. Those who practice command. Vocal presence is like a sonic signature. When you speak, the world should know it's you. That's built through practice. A leader trains tone until it becomes natural. The voice becomes an extension of identity. It's the vibration announcing confidence before the words. Powerful communication requires emotional endurance. On bad days, training continues. Speaking calmly when all is well is easy. The challenge is maintaining composure when chaos hits. That's when practice shows its strength. The trained voice doesn't tremble under stress, it guides. Vocal self-discipline is also humility. The leader knows he can always sound better, communicate better, connect better. He welcomes feedback, listens to criticism, and corrects mistakes. That openness makes him more human, and humanity amplifies presence. Exercising the voice is exercising patience. Repeating the same tone until mastering it. Listening to yourself dozens of times to adjust a detail. That practice creates a rare respect and authority. Respect born from silent excellence. Training is the shortest path to real impact. Emotional control helps the leader use the right tone for each moment. Not every situation demands firmness. Some need softness. Knowing how to dose is wisdom. Vocal training teaches this instinctively. The voice adapts but never loses center. Daily powerful communication is invisible construction. People see only the result, not the rehearsal. The leader who practices daily carries an unseen advantage. He communicates naturally what others try to force. The sound of practice is the sound of authority. Training the voice is also strengthening silence. Mastery of sound includes mastery of pause. Presence isn't talking all the time. It's knowing when to stop. Pauses create impact, generate expectation, amplify meaning. Well-used silence is a tool of leadership. Vocal self-discipline mirrors mental discipline. Those who train to speak clearly learn to think in order. Speech is the reflection of mind. Daily training builds a precise, structured, calm mentality. Communication becomes a natural expression of inner clarity. Powerful communication isn't a gift, it's a conquest. Each training, each adjustment, each breath brings you closer to mastery. The leader knows excellence isn't accidental, it's intentional. Constant practice turns ordinary into extraordinary. The voice becomes living presence. Training the voice plants seeds of influence. Each day of practice strengthens self-confidence. Each improvement builds natural respect and authority. The leader who trains vocally doesn't just speak better, he lives better. The voice becomes the mirror of growth. In the end, daily voice training is a commitment to self-growth. It's the link between self-discipline and powerful communication. Proof that leadership isn't improvised, it's built. When practice becomes habit, presence becomes destiny. Respect isn't something you ask for, it's something you become. Powerful communication begins within, in how you see yourself, and manifests outwardly, in how the world hears you. When your mind is aligned, your voice gains authority. The tone changes, the energy changes, and respect appears. Every time you dominate a conversation without raising your voice, you prove control is stronger than shouting. Self-discipline in speech separates leaders from amateurs. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs voices that guide. Every phrase you speak can become direction for someone. From now on, speak with intention. Choose every word as if it could build your future, because it can. Respect and authority don't come from appearance, but from consistency. Speak calmly, with purpose, and with presence. Leadership begins when word and action walk together. So the question is, do you want to keep being heard, or finally be remembered? Are you willing to train your voice, mind, and energy until each word carries impact? The choice is simple but powerful. Either you control communication, or you're controlled by it. If this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Here, you'll learn to master your mind, your voice, and your destiny. Because speaking well is an art, but being respected is a state of mind. And yours begins now.